Yes, welcome along to episode 2 in the brand new series of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch counting down to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. Gavin, everybody wants to know, did you get the car?
I'll tell you in a minute. But more importantly, how did you get on in the UK? You were chatting to 5 of the big trainers and you were in Cheltenham for 3 days.
Oh, I had a great week, Gavin.
Had you?
I had a great week, yeah. I met Fergal O'Brien,
right.
Ollie Murphy. I was in 7 Barrows for Nicky Henderson, Paul Nichols, Dan Skelton, Cheltenham for 3 days.
Wow.
It's one of them moments where you say, God, I love my job. Like here every morning, Gavin, yeah?
Yeah.
It was a brilliant couple of days. Really enjoyed it. Great to see how things are done over there. Obviously, there's an Irish dominance at the minute, so the point of the piece was to find out why and what's going on and just chatting to the trainers, but their passion and drive. The Paul Nichols, the Dan Skeltons, they just love what they do.
Yeah, well, you can see that at the weekend, the racing, the celebrations.
Now, I love that. You hate it.
No, I wouldn't say I
love
it. I just thought, wait till you win championship race before you start that crack.
No, but it needs to mean it's Cheltenham.
Yeah.
No matter what time of the year, it's still Cheltenham, and it means a lot to them.
It's great that it means so much to everybody, yeah. So have you any little nuggets for people? Just give us one or two.
How many do you want?
Give us 2. Give us 3 for the season.
Okay. Well, the Fighting Fifth is on Saturday week, okay? So this is not a dark horse. But Epatante worked with Buzz when I was there, and she was sweet as a nut. She looked full of herself. I think they've got her back. So Epatante will be one. And then Nicky said, get into the Jeep. We have to go watch these horses schooling, okay? So Dusart schooled. You know Dusart?
Yeah.
I think you tipped Dusart for the Supreme last year.
I was going to, and then he didn't appear.
He got a setback.
He was very impressive in Newbury.
So Dusart schooled with Bothwell Bridge, who's a nice novice chaser. And I just thought he was complete natural. When he saw the fences, he just went, give me another one, give me another one, give me another one. So he runs at Kempton on Monday week.
Okay.
Sorry, next Monday actually, in the same race that Altior won.
Right. Big horse?
Yeah, lovely, big strapping horse. And Nico with a big smile on his face after. Right. So Dusart, that would be another one. Was with Ollie Murphy as well. Fabulous place. God, gorgeous place. Go Dante.
Okay.
Is a very, very nice novice, I'd say. A very nice novice. And actually, my charity bet later on in the show might be a horse trained by Ollie Murphy. I'm not saying why, but you'll have to stay tuned for our charity bet. And we got 2 up last week, Gavin.
We did. Good start.
So it was a great start to the show. But Dusart, Go Dante, and obviously my Drogo. Obviously fell at the weekend, but Dan Skelton said, look, this is the best horse I have. Okay. So there you go. So tell us about the car.
So I arrived back. Luckily, it was a nice fella called Tom. He called me an idiot, and he was right.
Definitely.
I apologised. I paid for the fine. Got him a bit of lunch.
You bought him lunch?
You
bought him lunch?
I got him the sandwich, and I was chatting to him this morning, so we're good pals. He's a West Ham supporter, so.
So you've got a friend out of this?
Yeah, we might go golfing yet, you wouldn't know.
Only Gavin Lynch could get a friend out of
anyway, he was a nice man.
Will we get on with the show?
Yeah.
Let's get on with the show. Sure, of course you know the drill by now. Each week here on Upping The Ante, we kick off with our questions from the crowd. And before I begin, Gavin, get your questions into us. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you want, get your questions into us. We will try and answer as many as we can. We usually get 4 or 5 in every week. So if it's good enough, we'll take it, won't we, Gavin?
Yep.
And Clark's question was good enough this week. Paul says he was not impressed at all with Third Time Lucky at Cheltenham on Saturday. And he says he doesn't even know whether he would have won or not if Captain Tomcat hadn't have fallen. What were our thoughts on the performance? So Third Time Lucky.
I'd say he probably would have won, but I wasn't impressed.
No, me neither.
I had a very, very small bet on him last week. It's a thing that I like to do for I can't say portfolio anymore, for my list or my...
List, yeah. People hate the word portfolio apparently.
It sounds too posh, but my spreadsheet or whatever. So I had a very small bet on him at 14s because I thought that was maybe value if he ended up being the best English horse and he would off say 6 to 1 or 8 to 1 on the day. You could have a little saver against the proper bet. But he's now done this twice where he's tried to settle him. At halfway, he's taken it up. When they turned in, it looked like he was going to win by 20.
Yeah.
In the end, he eased him coming into 2 out, which cost him momentum and he got going again. But he's only won by less than 5 lengths of the death. Like, you have to remember, the Arkle in March, right? This is the top of the pops. It doesn't get any better. He was rated 143 over hurdles. Appreciated who's the current favourite is rated 160 over hurdles. So he wasn't as good a hurdler. He's a brilliant jumper. He travels really well. Yeah. But if he's going to win an Arkle, he's going to have to do everything right. He's either going to have to settle much better and come late, or else maybe make the running. But doing this thing of wasting so much energy in the middle part of the race, he can't beat a 160 horse doing that in March.
But do you think he would have won?
I do.
Yeah, just about, I'd say.
It's hard to know. It's a guess. It's a guess. But 60-40, 70-30, whatever.
But he's gone down in your estimations since Saturday.
Just a little bit. His jumping, as we said, that's twice he's been brilliant. But I just think he's wasting too much energy being keen. And I don't think he'll win the Arkle doing that. Now, he could improve and he could mature. But a bit like Paul Pogba, he has to cop on a bit.
Paul Pogba, there you go. Didn't think I was going to get a Paul Pogba third time lucky comparison. But yeah, we weren't impressed with third time lucky, Paul. Sorry. Our next question this week comes in from Jane Murphy, Gavin. And Jane wants to know if we each owned a horse that was running in a Grade 1 race at Haydock on Saturday, who would we get to ride it? So basically, to paraphrase, who is the best jockey?
Sure, there's lots of them there. I suppose Rachel Davey, Paul Townend, you like Harry Cobden, even the two young lads, Dara and Sean O'Keefe are definitely making big
Jane
waves.
just wants one though.
I would say Rachel. Met her on the cycle and she's a lovely lady, so I'll go with Rachel.
Oh, so she's plugging at the heartstrings now.
No, but she's brilliant over a fence. She presents the horses so well at every fence. She's class.
Okay. Well, because the race in Haydock, I'm going to go for an English jockey, and you know I love Harry Cobden.
Yeah.
To me, Harry Cobden is the next big thing. So Harry Cobden for me, and Rachel Blackmore for you.
Yep.
Question number 3 this week comes in from Kevin Coleman. Kevin wants to know, Gavin, out of all the performances this weekend at Cheltenham and at Punchestown, which performance blew you away?
I wouldn't say anything blew me away, Dave. Lots of very good performances. 5 good days racing, 3 at Cheltenham, 2 at Punchestown. Maybe Nubia Negra. Your horse travelled great, jumped great, bolted up, won very easy. Was a very good performance. For me personally, the performance of the week, it's not quite the question, but Facadou de Rie and Clonmel beating Royal Rendezvous by 15 lengths. I thought that was really, really good. Fast on the clock. Has had a go twice at 3 miles. We'll talk about it in the week that was shortly, but I thought that was the performance of the week. And you?
Have you invested in Facadou de Rie for any race Cheltenham since then?
No, not yet. Oh. No. I want to see what's going to happen at Christmas. It might run the Savills, I'd say. It probably won't go to King George because they've Chantry House for that. But I just thought that was the performance of the week. Okay, when Kevin's question came in, I had a long, hard think about this. Obviously, I was in Cheltenham for 3 days and Nubia Negra won for the charity and he was brilliant. But I said, which performance actually did I go, wow, love that? And it was Sharjah. It was Sharjah. It was only a 3-runner race. It was a pretty poor renewal of the Morgiana. But the way he travelled and the way he jumps. Yeah, he's jumping.
And Patrick is sitting there motionless and you're going, do you know what? He's right. Like, this horse does not get the credit he deserves. No. A bit like, I know Put the Kettle On was beaten at the weekend, but like a bit like Put the Kettle On. Sharjah's been second in the last 2 champion hurdles. He spent all last week 5-1 while Echoes and Rain was evens. And I was tearing my hair out going, what is going on here? Like, it just goes to show you, promise means so much more than than substance and form in the book. And Sharjah, to me, I know obviously he cannot beat Honeysuckle if Honeysuckle is the same Honeysuckle at Cheltenham, but he is going to be bang there.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, he loves good ground. So the champion hurdles on the Tuesday, which usually the softest ground of the week. So that doesn't necessarily help. But sure, he'll be bang there.
Isn't it very, very hard to see him finishing out of the first 4 in the champion hurdle?
Yeah, impossible, really.
Yeah. So for me, Patrick Mullins and Sharjah, and Patrick fills that horse with so much confidence. I just love, as he jumped the last and quickened Boys Anna here, I got a little tingly feeling. I did, I got it. Even though it was only a 3-runner race, I got it.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Horse. He's great.
Is that all right? Yeah. I know, like it's only a 3-runner race, but I love Sharjah. So Sharjah for me, Kevin. And our final question this week comes in from Ray Stevenson. And Ray is wondering, could Manila Times, the Grand National hero for Rachel Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead, end up in the Gold Cup, Gavin? Because Ray thinks when you take the top 2 out of it, there's nothing in the race.
No.
No. Which part? No. Which part? No.
He won't run the Gold Cup.
Oh, he won't run the Gold Cup.
No. His last 7 runs have been handicap chases. He won the Aintree Grand National at 146. He's now up to 159. The Gold Cup standard, last year's winner, Manella Indo's off 175. So he's £16 to make up. JP is Chantry House. He has your horse, Champ, for the Gold Cup or the Stayers Hurdle or whatever.
Don't be sneering at Champ, right? Champ is going to come back. His back is going to be mended. Okay. He's going to be fine. And that, I asked Nicky there.
He won't win a Gold Cup.
Hold on now a second, right? I asked Nicky during the week about Champ. Nicky gave me the eye. He said, we'll get him back for you. Yeah, don't be giving up on Champ.
Dream on. But yeah, Manila Times, I'd imagine he'll go back to Aintree, so he won't run the Gold Cup.
Right, there you go, Ray. I'm sorry, I did my best for you, but no chance Manila Times runs in the Gold Cup. Now, folks, it's time for the week that was, and it was an extremely busy week. And now Gavin Lynch is going to tell you each and every horse that caught his eye. Take it away.
This is the chance for people to catch up on the week.
Yes.
So last Tuesday, Fairyhouse, we're going to start with a horse called Gabinaco, who beat Fury Road, Max Flamingo, and Midnight Run by a couple of lengths.
Go beginner's chase.
Yeah, so Gabinaco was 25s for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase over 3 mile. Jumped very well. This was its first run over 2 mile 5. Looks a stayer to me. But don't be surprised if 1 or 2 or 3 of those end up in handicap chases at Cheltenham. And because they're novices, I think they're definitely ones to keep an eye on. I don't think they're up to a grade 1 race, including Fury Road, who should win the next day. But I think definitely horses like that you need to watch for handicaps.
I would give Gabinaco an 8.5/9 out of 10 for his jumping.
His jumping was good, yeah.
Brilliant jumper, yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. On the same card, a horse called Vaucelet, a 6-year-old who won the Hunter's Chase by 5 lengths from Snugs Benny, has now won his last 4, and he also won the Champion Novices Hunter's Chase at Stratford in the summer. There's no prizes yet for the Fox Hunter's Chase, but David Christie said that he might go to Down Royal with them at the Christmas, but his season's target will be the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham. So
okay, watch the space for betting on the Hunter's Chase.
Thursday at Clonmel, our horse won. Upping The Ante won.
He did.
So,
and genuinely was called after the show because Garrett O'Loughlin trained him for his point.
Okay.
And he texted me when, I think we mentioned this on the show last year.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But he just spelled it wrong, but sure. Maybe Upping The Ante was gone.
Yeah, maybe.
So, doing the show proud Upping The Ante.
Yeah, nice horse. Not sure he'll be good enough to get to the Cotswolds in March, but time will tell. Mount Ida won the Mayor's Chase by 4, just over 4 lengths from Scarlet and Dove. Jumped very, very well, maybe a little bit to her right. Now, she has been over fences 6 times. 5 have been right-handed. The only time she went left-handed is when she won at Cheltenham.
Well, she didn't really go left-handed. She kind of went right-handed for most of it. So but she still won.
When you see the stats saying 1 from 1 going left-handed, you'd say, oh, that suits her. It doesn't suit her. No. Now, her season's target is going to be the Aintree Grand National. I think she's 10-1 with Bet365 for the Mayor's Chase, but I just wouldn't be into her going left-handed again. I'd have to see her again before I consider her for the Mayor's Chase.
Yeah, of course, she hit the maximum price in Run and Betfair that day at Cheltenham in the Kimura.
Yeah.
1,000 on Betfair, yeah.
And I can't see her going to the Mayor's Chase and 3 weeks later going to the Aintree Grand National. So I'd steer clear of her for the moment. Fakir Duderie, as we said earlier, for me, the performance of the week. To beat Royal Rendezvous by 15 lengths. Obviously, in deep ground, margins and distances get exaggerated. But I thought he was brilliant. His jumping early on wasn't brilliant, but then he jumped very well the second half of the race.
Yeah, and I thought Joseph was interested in a stable tour, even thinking this horse is not as old as we think.
No.
And there's still loads of improvement to come, so he certainly looked an improved customer.
Yeah, he's only a 6-year-old, but what's happened the last couple of seasons is he's had a few little things go wrong here and there. He's pulled up on a few bits. So he's been over 3 mile twice, pulled up in the Savills a year ago. He was 3rd Clandazoba, Punchestown. I just wouldn't say for definitely doesn't stay 3 miles yet, because he stayed 2.5 and heavy really well. He's 7-1 for the Ryanair, 50-1 for the Gold Cup, but it'll be interesting to watch him maybe at Leopardstown at Christmas.
Absolutely.
We're on to Cheltenham on Friday.
Great place, Cheltenham.
Yeah, great place.
I'll bring you back someday.
So my Drogo and Gin and Lime in a 2-horse race was more exciting than any flat race for me all summer. It was just, it's hard to believe that a 2-horse race could be so exciting. So to me, Gin and Lime wasn't herself. She didn't race with her usual enthusiasm. She jumped a bit to her right. She made some mistakes. My Drogo was definitely going to win. The only little thing that was slightly disappointing for me is that when they turned in, my Drogo didn't just quicken 4 or 5 clear straight away. He was, say, a length clear, jumping the second last, definitely going to win. Jumped the fence fine, just didn't get the landing gear out, knuckled over. And then we saw Rachel perform miracles. It was like she was on a surfboard, wasn't it?
And because she's so balanced, it almost, people might say, sure, it wasn't that hard to stay on. But to actually be in that situation, unbelievable. Now, there were people, and some high-profile people I spoke to at Cheltenham, who thinks that horse should have been pulled up instantly.
No.
Absolutely not.
Incorrect.
Imagine punters who have backed Gin and Lime, right? Who she makes this miraculous recovery, and they say, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to collect," and then she pulls her up. She would have been ridiculed.
Yeah.
And you have to trust her to think, right, the horse feels sound. Let's go.
So she had to get the horse started again to be able to jump the last fence. So she had maybe 100 yards to decide. So she starts trotting the horse and trying to get it up to a gallop as quickly as she could. During those 50 to 100 metres, that's where she's deciding. She knows underneath if the horse is lame or not.
Yeah.
So the horse was perfect. She'd done the right thing. Years ago, you used to get all the prize money if you finished alone, so maybe she did. $25 grand was the prize money. Yeah. Lots of punters backed it. She definitely done the right thing.
Definitely. Imagine if she pulled the horse up, okay? And then that horse was examined afterwards by a vet and the horse was perfect.
Yeah.
And the steward's report comes out and says the horse was perfect and she's after pulling her up. It would have been carnage.
Yeah, no, totally right.
Brilliant. Thing. Well done, Rachel.
Yes, well done. It's sport. Get on with it. Gin and Lime is 10-1 for the Mare's Chase. You'd have to see her much better the next time, but I'd say maybe they might give her a breather until then, but just...
Right, where are we with My Drogo? Where are we?
We are 8-1 for the Marsh, is the first thing to say.
Well...
brilliant horse, very impressive in entry. First time over fences, he jumped really well. He stood off one too far down the back and kind of caught the top of it. Just knuckled over at the second last. Gorgeous horse. You love him?
Yeah, I do love him. And I just thought it was interesting. There's 3 little questions that was part of my tour with the trainers. First one is, if you could sign any horse in a transfer market from Ireland, which one would you sign? The second one was, what was that? I can't think of the second one. I'll think of it in a second. But the third question was, if there's a future star in your stable, who is it? So it was literally, Dan is there, I'm here. If there's a future star in your stable, it was a Drogo. I hadn't even the question finished. Yeah. The horse after falling, Third Time Lucky was very good. Obviously, you have Nuba Negra, who was brilliant. You had West Cork. He's got so many young horses. And it was like, it was a reflex. It was like Drogo. He thinks the world of that horse. And it'll be very interesting. The other question was actually, if you are to have a winner at Cheltenham, who will it be? And his answer to that was, if I can exercise extreme patience, it will be West Cork in the county hurdle.
Yeah, sure. After winning at the weekend.
But I just thought it was interesting, knowing the good horses that he has, there was no doubt in his mind that My Drogo was the best horse he trained.
Yeah, he's going to have to take on probably Bob Ollinger and maybe one out of the two of Appreciated or Fernie Hollow, depending on how
strong division, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Okay,
sorry, I held you up there, Gavin.
You're grand. But yeah, My Drogo, very good. Blazing Cal also on the Friday beat Gelino Bello by 2.5 lengths. He's 16-1 for the Bartlett. He's one of the first contenders we have now for the Bartlett, along with Eric Bloodaxe, Hollow Games are another 2.
Any chance of a little Charles?
He was 3 seconds lower than the handicap hurdle, but to me, his jumping was okay. He was a bit sticky early on, but he seems like a big gangly horse, a green horse. He won very well in Galway. He won well here. I definitely think he'd have a chance in the Bartlett.
Go on. Give us a little Charles. We haven't had an impression yet today. Go on.
If Charles, I didn't hear him being interviewed afterwards.
No, but you just make it up. Go on.
I'd say if he was interviewed, he might have said, look, I suppose we're going to have to go for maybe a Bartlett, maybe a Matt, so his handicap mark is wound now anyway, so, he's got to win the grade too, so I suppose, look, I will come back for the day out anyway, but, I'm not saying he win now, but, he'd have a bit of a chance.
Gavin, I put that into your top 3. That was very good.
Thank you.
Very impressed. Tony Mullins still won, but that's gone 2 or 3.
Saturday in Cheltenham, Night Salute won the 3-year-old hurdle.
That's a good horse. I'm telling you now, that's a good horse. And he mightn't quite be good enough to win a Triumph hurdle, but the way he travels, the way he jumps, he's a good horse. Don't forget him.
He was rated 80 on the flat. He's 3 from 3 over hurdles. He's worn a hood every time. He's 20-1 for the Triumph hurdle. Obviously likes the track.
Yeah. Worse 20-1 shots than that.
There is. Strictly a Dancer was very impressive in the handicap chase. It beat a horse called Minds Made Up that I backed each way.
They hate it. Viewers, they hate when you say it. He beat. Yeah, he beat Minds Made Up. He won here off 115. He's now won 2 handicap chase in a row at Cheltenham under amateur jockeys. If he wins again between now and March, which I'd say he will because he's travelled so strongly. Now, both times that he's won at the weekend and previous a month ago, he's taken it way too far out. But he's travelling so well that they have. But I think if he gets up to, so he'd be up to say 125 now. If he wins again and gets the high 130s, he could be a horse for the Kim Muir under an amateur jockey again. Interesting,
Then we are on to Third Time Lucky. We've spoken about him, so not very impressive.
Just rewind the questions from the crowd if you want to hear about Third Time Lucky.
9-1 for the Arkle. On to Weatherby on Saturday, just to mention one horse.
Jesus.
Yeah, Weatherby. Yeah.
You've come far, haven't you?
I have. Palmer's Hill.
That's a good spot now.
Yeah.
That's a good spot.
He won a handicap chase, only his second time ever over fences.
2 mile 2.
Yeah, it was 2-3, but we won't argue. He won off 130. I'd imagine, Tom Scudamore's, he jumped quite well. Tom Scudamore's body language up the straight
was, I'm going to win.
Suggested.
Yes.
I'm just.
And the worst thing in the world was when the horse fell.
And then he had to go to the front.
And he had to go to the front, yeah.
So to me, he won with a reasonable amount in hand.
Where are we going with him? I'd love to know because he is a shout, one of them.
Now, in England, they get less of a penalty than they do in Ireland. If that horse won in Ireland, he'd get 10 or 12. Over there,
might get away with 8. Maybe,
8, yeah. So probably 138. So it'll be interesting to see. I'd see him as a plate horse, the 2 mile 5 race in March, especially if he's like in the around 140, which so one to
he's
keep
a
an
nice
eye on.
horse because I actually thought they might go down the Pertemps route with him. So it's interesting he's gone over fences. Yeah.
We're on to Saturday in Punchestown. Very sad to see that Bob Ollinger didn't make it out. He was replaced, or he had a sub in French, Dynamite, who's also owned by Rob Corr. He was actually very impressive. He's a 150 rated hurdler. One thing to say about Bob Ollinger, he's still 11 to 4 for the Marsh, is that I think we just need to start calling him Bob.
Bob. Happy with
because, one of the greatest commentators we've ever had in Ireland is Micheál Mullarty. And when Micheál will be commentating in Gaelic football at Hurling in Croke Park, the real sign of a great player was when he just said the first name. Like if I said to you, who was, here's 3 hurlers for you, DJ.
Carey.
Henry.
Shefflin.
TJ.
Reid.
Yes. So when Micheál was commentating on those, he just said their first name. So from now on, I think we should just say Bob.
Yeah, British viewers now are scratching their heads going, who on earth is Micheál Mullarty? Just look it up on YouTube, Micheál Mullarty, very good impression by Gavin. Bob, 11 to 4. We might see him this weekend at Corn Park.
And 2 things about Micheál. When I used to go to Croke Park, I'd often bring the earphones and listen to him as I was watching the game. He was that good. And Mick O'Dowd on screen, the former manager, does the best Micheál in the world. Mine's ordinary, but his is the best.
Can we get him in to do it?
We should, because he's brilliant.
Do your best.
Riviere de Tel also won in Punchestown on Saturday, is now 12 to 1 from the Arkle, was getting £18 from Cape Gentleman. Now,
what did you think now?
First thing I'll say is the Cape Gentleman was having its 3rd run in a month, and to me just didn't perform to maybe its best. Second thing is, at Cheltenham, she's going to get the sex allowance of £7, but she's not getting an age allowance. But so she's going to get 7 instead of 18, so that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is that I looked at the video this morning and she jumped a little bit to her right, and then I went and checked. All her 3 wins have been right-handed. She's gone left-handed twice. Once in Navan where she jumped to her right, which was a disadvantage, and then she ran reasonably well, I think, in the Bulls at Cheltenham. But I just would have a little worry about her going left-handed. So,
Gavin, that's why we pay you the big bucks.
We'll see the
next
next
for
time.
Analysis like that. Everybody else would have said, she's very impressive. No, you went back and watched the video, and you said, I'm not sure about her going left-handed.
Yeah, we'll see at Christmas, probably at Leopardstown. I'm sure she'll go on Stephen's Day. On to Sunday at Cheltenham. Have you ever been, Dave?
Cheltenham?
No.
Great place. I'll bring you Sunday.
3 under through 5 was my question.
3 under through 5?
Have you ever been 3 under through 5?
Absolutely, definitely, never. 3 under through 5.
So he beat Does He Know by, say, 4 lengths, reversed the form with that horse from, say, a month ago. Oscar Elite was
Would have won.
Yeah,
absolutely would have won. No, would have won. Go on.
Crashed out at the 3rd last, was definitely travelling the best. Yeah. You can't say it would have won.
Well, he would have won.
You can't.
Well, he would have
what chance has George got in life if you're starting to say them things?
I think, in my humble opinion, which is not worth much, that Oscar Elite would have won.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably the best horse in the race.
And that Oscar Elite is a good horse. And I like the way he jumped prior to that.
Yeah, no, it jumped very, very well. I was surprised at the mistake, yeah. That horse was second in the Bartlett, beaten 10 lengths by Vanilla. But 300 through 5 is 16 to 1 for the Brown Advisory. Nube Negra.
On that, right, very quickly, I can't remember now exactly, but I remember doing a piece on this a year or 2 ago. If a horse falls on its chasing debut, it's not the end of the world at all.
No.
Some really good horses have fallen on their chase debut and gone on to be decent. Top of the Game being one of them. Top of the Game obviously won the RSA with Delta Work and Santini. Obviously the form hasn't worked out spectacularly well, but he fell on his debut, and there was 3 or 4 other really good horses that fell on their debut.
I'm going to say 2 to, and this I could be totally wrong, but I think Undersow might have been Thurles.
Yes, did.
And I think Moscow Flyer did in Fairyhouse.
There you go.
Because I think I was at there.
Well, it just goes to show you it can happen, and they can learn from it. And just like my Drogo, Oscar Elite, just don't give up on them just because they fell.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Jump well up to that. So Nube Negra 9 to 1 for the champion chase. Very unlucky that it's run into a couple of superstars in say Shishkin.
It's only 7.
So yeah. Goes very well fresh. I just wonder, if you trained it, would you leave it off until March?
See, it's a very hard thing to do because...
Well, prize money is one thing.
Prize money and, one day, saving it for one day, but he just goes so well fresh. We saw it at Kempton last year when he beat Altior, and he was loving it during that race. He was landing, running at all his fences. Yeah. He just really enjoyed himself.
Now, what he'd love is if Energamine and say, Shaq and Poursois took each other on, but because they're both trained by Willie, that probably shouldn't happen. But if they went a mental gallop, that would suit him because he travels so strongly. So 9 to 1 for the champion chase, as I said.
He could meet Shishkin in the Tinkle Creek, potentially.
Okay. Put the Kettle On was very disappointing, was gone at halfway, ended up being beaten 10.5 lengths.
She ran on though.
She did.
She ran on. I'm not convinced she goes well fresh. I thought she fell in the race last year when it fell apart. And I wouldn't just quite give up on her.
Yeah, she's 20-1 for the champion chase. West Cork. Now, I would say this was a very, very good renewal of the Greatwood handicap hurdle. The last couple of years, we had a few winners out of it that went on to win at Cheltenham and stuff. So it's a race that's worth keeping an eye on.
Our Ireland editor in the Racing Post, Richard Forrestal, he's from West Cork, isn't he? It's Clonakilty, West Cork.
Clonakilty
is West Cork.
Yeah.
And you do a very good Richard Forrestal impression.
Oh, no.
So give us a bit on West Cork there in your best West Cork accent.
No, he'd be giving out to me.
No, go on. Go on, do a little bit. Just a line on West
Usually
Cork.
when I ring Richie, go, how are things? But West Cork beat Adagio by 3/4 of a length. And then No Ordinary Joe was 2 lengths back and third. So, but Adagio, brilliant run for a 4-year-old, running off 147. The 4-year-olds are doing quite well. Look at Zana here, look at Adagio. You'd have to say to Monmoral, who was very impressed with the entry. It'll be interesting to see who gets on against Epatante in Newcastle, maybe in the fighting fifth. The fighting fifth even. No Ordinary Joe, I thought, was a huge eye catcher. Crazy keen early on.
Made one bad mistake as well, yeah.
Yeah, but so keen. If that horse can learn to settle, it's got an
Cup.
official rating of 133. Will they step it up and trip, or will they stick for a county hurdle? And if they do go for the county, they might be taking on West Cork. Officially rated 134. I would imagine it's going to get 8 or 10, will it?
Just one thing on No Ordinary Joe and Nicky's, who are not like winning every day of the week, but they haven't been on grass yet. The gallop hasn't been soft enough for them to actually go on grass where they would usually school and work and stuff. Okay. So just interesting. If the rain comes, you'll see a lot of Nicky's, I'd say, improving.
How many pound do you think West Cork could get?
West Cork will get 8.
Yeah. Which wouldn't be a lot, I don't think.
No.
So as you said, Dan might keep it to the county.
631 days off and then come back and do that.
It was 8 seconds quicker than the 2 mile novice hurdle, which was ran slow, but also it was 8 seconds quicker than the bumper as well. So it was a fast time. I like to move it. It's very hard to say that name of the horse without thinking.
I like to move it.
Anyway,
and do you know they actually played that song? I was standing in the parade with Cheltenham and the horse come back in. I don't know what song they were playing all week, but they actually played that song as he was coming back in.
There you go.
And it was like, I don't know if it was brilliant or cringy or what.
Bit of atmosphere. Beat Washington by 2 lengths. That had been 3 for 3 before Sunday. Now I like to move it as 3 from 3 over hurdles. Had finished 9th in the champion bumper and is now 20-1 for the Supreme. So the Twiston Davises love the horse, but time will tell. Last meeting to talk about is Sunday in Punchestown, and then I need to get a glass of water.
You're doing very well so far.
Shady Operator jumped brilliantly on the cross-country fences. It's on about going, they're on about bringing him to Cheltenham in December for the cross-country. Might show up in March. Don't know if it's good enough to take on, say, Tiger Roll and stuff, but jumps these fences fantastically, as usually they do for Enda Bulger. Vanillier is now 10-1 for the National Hunt Chase, 16-1 for the Brown Advisory. Beat Fancy Foundations by 26 lengths. Ballyshannon Rose fell at the last one, was about 3 or 4 lengths behind. And unfortunately...
Oh, poor 6-shooter.
Yeah, we won't see him again.
I like that horse.
Yeah, well, that's...
I thought he was brilliant at Galway, and condolences to Emma and Noel and everybody involved with the horse. So such a shame.
Yeah, no, that's sad. Vanillier jumped really well, was slow 3 out, got passed by Ballyshannon Rose and then fought back to win well in the end. To me, I don't know. I know he won the Bartlett. He loves Cheltenham. I just wonder, I don't think he's enough gears for what used to be the RSA.
He's a National Hunt Chase horse written all over him. Yeah,
that's what I would agree with. He's 10-1 joint favourite for that race. Dysart Diamond beat Royal Cahala by a half a length. Royal Cahala made a terrible mistake 3 out. She ran him very well, considering that the ground was quite good. Tell Me Something Girl was disappointing. Heaven Help Us was disappointing, but that made a terrible mistake 2 out. I just don't think we're seeing the winner of the Mayor's Hurdle there from any of those. It's currently Dysart Diamond is 14-1 for the Mayor's Hurdle, and it's 8-1 the field, which is very rare for the Mayor's Hurdle.
Yeah, especially Willie has.
Normally there's a horse who's 2-1 at this stage, but it's very, very open this year. Sharjah that we spoke about earlier ended up beating Zana here by 3 lengths. Michael's having a yawn there.
Yeah,
Echoes and Rain was beaten another 12 lengths.
This is fantastic stuff, and the cameraman is yawning.
I must be warning him.
No, don't worry, Gavin. Don't worry, I'm loving
Echoes and Rain is now 25-1 for the champion hurdle, beaten 15 lengths. They went very slow. She jumped badly.
And she's rated 143.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway.
She was getting the allowance, so I'd say that's 150. But yeah, she was well beat. Sharjah, what is he, 8 turn of 9? He's not really going to improve, but yeah, he's going to be third in the champion hurdle, isn't he?
Dinger. And do you know what?
You talk
to Patrick Mullins, and the last 2 champion hurdles, He hasn't said he would have won them, obviously, but he ran into Epatante and Honeysuckle, who are both improving, getting the mayor's allowance. And he just thinks there's little things in boat races where just didn't quite go right. He can't wait to ride, I'd say, again in the Champion Hurling.
He's been around so long that I remember I tell lots of bad jokes in Upping The Ante, but in our first series, I told a bad joke about him running in Dundalk. You know the way there's 2 charges?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
That's how long he's around. Just to mention...
You're going to tell us a joke?
No. A horse who was 4th in the Pertemps qualifier, the name escapes me. At the second last... yeah, I know, this annoys you. But a horse fell in front of it, had to kind of go around it and jump it. And it's a big eye catcher, so you'll be thinking at Cheltenham.
Me and the name escapes me, Gavin, go back longer than me and you do.
It's rated 132, which would be grand for Cheltenham, but it's 11, so I wouldn't.
He's 11.
He's 11.
Yeah, go on.
The big Diane, very impressive on the bumper. 6 seconds quicker than Sharjah, but don't get too excited because I timed it
from no hurdles.
There wasn't, but I timed it this morning from the second last to the line just in case there was something significant to know. Sharjah was 44 seconds. The big Diane was 48. But still, a very, very good performance.
What colours will we see him in next, I wonder?
I don't know. I'd say it'll change hands for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Very impressive. It also won in Roscommon. So I think it's 10-1 second favourite for the champion bumper. And that was the week it was.
And breathe. Well done, Gavin. That was the week that was. So each week here on Upping The Ante, we're going to preview a race at the 2022 Cheltenham Festival, and we're doing it in order, of course. If you tuned in last week, they would know we're doing it in order.
Chronological, you
So
said.
Chronological, yeah. We've said that word right 3 times now. So chronologically, so that means the second week is the second race, and it is the Arkle. And at the moment, with Bet365, appreciate it. The wide margin winner of last season's Supreme Novices Hurdle is 11-4. It is 9-1 Saturday's Cheltenham winner, third time lucky. It is 10-1 Bob Ollinger. It is 10-1 Fernie Hollow, 12-1 Riviere de Tel, and 14-1 Bar. I cannot wait to see Appreciate It, Gavin.
Yes. There's 2 things that worry me, Dave.
Oh.
2 things, yeah.
Go on.
King John and good ground.
Oh, okay.
I'm really worried about the ground at the minute for the next while. The ground is literally good.
Yeah.
It's the middle of November. We're going to have good ground. I'm told Palomine Peter does a lot of looks at weather forecasts, and he says for the next few weeks it's going to stay quite dry. So
what does he do?
Tennis courts. So, but think about it this way, right?
Tennis courts, Kim Jong-un, weather, and appreciated in the space of 30 seconds.
Good ground worries me, is that if you work backwards from Cheltenham, if you won't appreciate it, you'd love him to run at the Dublin Racing Festival.
Yeah.
Okay. You'd love him to run at Christmas.
Yeah.
In order for that to happen,
beginner's chase.
A beginner's chase at the end of November or the 1st of December, 2nd, early in December. Yeah. Okay. So you'd like to have 3 runs before Christmas or before Cheltenham, wouldn't you?
I would say ideally the French Dynamite Bob Ollinger race, 12 o'clock at Punchestown last Saturday, was the race for Appreciated. In an ideal world with loads of rain the last couple of weeks.
But Willie is a brilliant man. He, by the way, gave us the largest donation to the charity cycle. So thank you, Willie.
Thank you, Willie.
But brilliant man, brilliant trainer. He knows everything. So he just doesn't like running horses really on good ground. We know that. We haven't hardly seen any of them yet this season, apart from maybe Sharjah, Echoes and Rain. But he's got tons of horses come out. But if it gets much later with the ground, is Appreciated and Fernie Hollow and those types, and Gallop and Deschamps, are they only going to have enough time for 2 runs before Cheltenham?
Could they say over hurdles?
No, they won't. But I just would love to see the ground softening up, and then we'll get to see some of these great horses. Okay,
so at the moment, Upping The Ante viewers are tuning in, and they're going to want to know, should they back Appreciated at 11-4, put Appreciated in multiples? Have you got Appreciated in any multiples?
I did a double last year, just after Cheltenham, 4-1 him and 4-1 Bob Ollinger. Appreciated for the Arkle. I did a double. It's 24-1, like it was a huge price.
Okay.
And then...
When you mean last year, you mean this year, but after Cheltenham?
Yeah.
Okay.
A week or 2 after Cheltenham.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. And then as the song said, Willie went and spoiled it all by saying something stupid like Fernie Hollow's going over fences. So that's really messed that up. Look, Fernie Hollow is a brilliant horse. He's beaten Appreciated in the champion bumper. He's beaten Bob Ollinger in Gorham Park. So which one is going to end up in the Arkle? Which one is going to end up in the Marsh? Which one is going to take the fences really well? We don't know. To me, the 2 best horses in the race are Appreciated and Fernie Hollow.
Yeah. Now, people are obviously criticising us for previewing the Supreme last week and the Arkle this week because, we don't know a lot about these horses yet, and a lot of them haven't jumped fences. But at the same time, you're getting bigger prices because, and might be the time where you might spot something. So is there anything at bigger prices that stands out?
Not particularly. Third time lucky didn't do enough for the weekend. Bob Ollinger's going to go for the Marsh, or he was due to start over 2-3 or 2-4 in Punchestown, so he's not going to end up, you'd imagine, in the Arkle. Quilixios, he's in the betting, but I mean, we've already seen him over hurdles. Riviere de Tel, I would have a worry, as I said earlier, about going left-handed. My Drogo will end up on the marsh. One horse that won of the weekend, Magic Days, she won by...
She was very good,
yeah. Again, I just don't think she'd be good enough to win Arkle. So I'd have it between Appreciated and Fernie Hollow.
Yeah. The one, obviously, I mentioned earlier on in the show, keep an eye out for Dusar 2 runs at Kempton on Monday.
Okay.
Obviously, it's 5 fences. You don't know what to expect, schooling, but I just like the way he attacked his fences. I thought he looked a complete natural. He's a gorgeous big horse. He's only had 2 starts. I thought he ran quite well at Aintree behind Belfast Banter, won the County Hurdle. Very impressive first time out. I just think he's 25 to 1. Obviously, Appreciated and Fernie Hollow have so much more experience in him. It would be an impossible task probably to go out and win an Arkle. But if he was impressive at Kempton in a race where Nicky has good horses running there over the years, including Altior, 25 to 1 just might be too big of a price.
Okay.
Do start for the Arkle.
If I had to have a bet now, I'd probably pick Fernie Hollow simply because it's 10s. It's probably too big, but there's a chance that maybe it won't go there, but we'll see.
Okay, so there you go. That was our quick look at the 2022 Arkle Chase. So what you want to know now is what's happening this week. And the Betfair Chase is the feature race of the afternoon on Saturday. And it sees Bristol de Mai going for a 4th Betfair Chase, trying to emulate the one, the only Cotto Star.
Yeah.
Can he do it?
He can. I won't have bet in the race, but I probably would back him, to be honest.
Would you?
I probably would. Plutard has been beaten, finished second, first time out the last 3 seasons.
4-3 a chase, 2 miles.
Yeah. Got beaten going Park, but that was right-handed, etc. Yeah.
But the last 2 seasons it was the 4-3 at Navan, wasn't it? Ballyosheen.
Yeah, and Castle Grace, Paddy.
Castle Grace, Paddy, yeah. Pat Fahey's, yeah.
So he's 11 to 8. Bristol de Mai trying to win, as you said, for the 4th time. People are going to think that it needs a ploughed field, but it did win this race on good ground, beating Native River one year. So horses for courses. This will obviously be its Gold Cup for the season.
Yeah,
a lot of prize money.
I know, but are we not talking at Plutard as like this, and Bristol de Mai is kind of,
I think
leveling? I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here.
I think Haydock takes a lot of jumping. Plutard is a good jumper. I think
he's a very good jumper.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's fine,
I think Bristol de Mai is maybe better at it. So, look, just as a token selection, Bristol de Mai, you're saying Plutard.
Yeah, I think
class will out.
I think he's probably at this stage the most likely winner of the Gold Cup. So I think if he's the most likely winner of the Gold Cup, I think he's got more pace than Bristol de Mai. I think he's more potential than Bristol de Mai. And I think, if it was heavy ground, and even though obviously Plutard loves heavy ground as well, but it was heavy ground, it evens it up a little bit. But I'd be disappointed if Plutard didn't win.
Okay. Royal Pagaille,
I think waiting patiently will run well.
Yeah.
He could be
travel very well. Royal Pagaille would need it softer, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If I was to give my 1-2, it would be Plutard to beat waiting patiently.
Okay.
The Betfair Stayers Hurdle is also on Saturday.
The handicap?
It used to be the fixed brush. I like one in this.
Go on.
I like a horse called Riggs that's trained by Dan Skelton. It's rated 127. I thought it was a lovely comeback run last month, and the time before it would have won at Uttoxeter, fell at second last. Just one of these crying out for obviously a trip. A really well handicapped, I think, in my personal opinion. 127 is a mark short of what he's capable of. So Riggs for me in the Betfair Stayers Hurdle. Moving across to Ascot, where we've got the Chanel Pharma 1965 Chase and some old favourites in here, Gavin. Definitely decide, where have you been?
Honest to God, yeah. And course specialist Dashel Drasher, 4 from 4 at the track.
Well done. Not easy to pronounce.
No. Do you remember Muttley, from the Wacky Races?
No.
Do you remember Drasher? Remember? No? Do you remember him, no? Cartoon character.
Should I,
Yeah. Anyway, every time I think of Dashel Drasher,
I was watching horses like River Tarquin and Harkon and Barton Bank when I should have been watching cartoons.
Yeah, no, look up Wacky Races. He was a funny character. Dashel Drasher is 3 to 1, I think. Deffy Desai 4 to 1. Itchy Feet 5 to 1. Master Tommy Tucker 6 to 1. Esport de Rame 6 to 1. Loads of good horses in the race.
They're all kind of nearly horses, aren't
they?
Yeah.
I'd go for the favourite, Dashel Drasher. 4 from 4 at the track, as I said. The only little worry is the ground going to be soft enough. It's probably going to run, but I think it'll take a fair bit of beating. Okay, I'd just love to see Deffy Desai. He's one of my favourite horses in training. Love to see him coming back. And obviously we saw with Sporting John at the weekend. Philip Hobbs' team coming into a bit of form now. The Coral Hurdle is also at Ascot on Saturday. What do you like in that? I think Buzz is going to end up a really strong candidate for the Stayers Hurdle. Very impressive in the Cesarewitch. I backed the second horse that day each way, and I couldn't believe the Buzz came and done Willie's horse. Stung you. Yeah. So he won that off 96. I think it's going to get tapped for toe over 2 mile 3. Like when it ran in the entry hurdle and was second to Abracadabras, it looked like it was going nowhere, even at the last, and it stayed on very strong. I think 2 mile 3 is not far enough. It's 6-4 favourite. I could see it being a big contender in March, but I think this is too short.
Now, this is my last time mentioning my tour, okay?
Yes.
I've got enough mileage out of it, literally. I said it to Nicky about Buzz, Stairs Hurdle. He goes, yeah, Stairs Hurdle. He goes, I just hope he might have, I don't know if he said I hope or I don't hope, but he goes, I wonder does he have too much pace for the Stairs Hurdle? He thinks this horse has pace.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I was going to say it's good to see you're not going on about your tour too much.
No, that's a finish now. No more mentions of my tour.
What's going to win it? Goshen going right-handed, fair enough. Sure, he might win it, but if Buzz runs a big race, it could be a point to the Stairs Hurdle.
Okay, so keep an eye out for Buzz and at Navan on Saturday. We don't have the entries quite yet because we film on a Tuesday morning for the races at the weekend at Gorham Park in Navan.
Yeah.
But we have early Tri-Town Chase entries, and my old buddy,
go on,
Lord Royal, is entered.
Yeah.
Rated 144. He's so much better than that, my God. But needs cutting the ground. Has obviously been disappointing. He's still a maiden over fences, but he's a better horse than 144.
The strange thing again, me going on about ground again, is that this could be like literally one of the only times ever the Tri-Town could be running good ground. Like if you've got a 3 mile staying chaser who loves, say, deep ground, the two races you think of straight away are the Thyestes at the end of January and the Tri-Town. Yeah. And now you're going, God, it's going to be maybe good ground. There's lots in it. Conflated, who needs to jump better than it did at Wexford. I like the way you're thinking, probably needs to jump better, but he's got a great engine. Top Moon was third in the Munster National. Fan de Blues, will it stay 3 mile? Deafy Blue is there. Definite Plan won a handicap chase in Cheltenham. Gordon has won it 4 out of the last 7 years, so keep that in mind. A very open race.
A very open race. So there's a small flavour of what's happening this week. Now it's time for Upping the Stakes. And what a start we had to Upping the Stakes last week. This is our weekly charity bet, trying to raise some much needed funds for Cancer Trials Ireland. And Gavin, it couldn't have went any better. Nuba Negra did the business for me on Sunday in the slower chase, 9-4, and Gavin managed to get 4-1 early doors, about gin on lime each way in the what turned out to be a 2-runner race against my Drogo, and she bolted up.
Have you ever seen a horse win by as far?
You can't win any further than that, Gavin.
Won by a distance.
Yeah, can't win any further.
Never
in
any doubt, was it?
So the charity was certainly smiling down on us last weekend, and
it's better to be lucky than good.
The pressure. So it's a good start. So we've got a good. We've got a start. Okay.
Go on.
So there's funds in the kitty. So now we just have to add to it. Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to go first or second?
Go ahead, you go first.
Okay. I am going to Chepstow on Friday.
Okay.
Chepstow on Friday, the 145. It's a novices handicap chase over 2 miles. And it's a horse I followed over hurdles last season, and I didn't think we saw the best of him. And I'm looking forward to him going over fences. So, I was with Ollie Murphy on last Thursday now.
Okay.
And I asked him about this horse, and he's looking forward to him. It's a horse called Fearless.
Okay.
Fearless is running in the 145 at Chepstow on Friday, and he's running off a mark of 118, so it's a novices handicap chase. I thought he would have won at Ayr last season, only for he fell at second last against a hot pot. And to me, he's a real strong traveller who looks like he's going to make a nice chaser. And he's starting at a fairly low level off a mark of 118. I think he got up to maybe 124 over hurdles. So I just expect him to do well enough this season. So it's for a great cause. Cancer Trials Ireland. My charity bet this week on Upping the Stakes is Fearless in the 145 at Chepstow on Friday.
We've no Irish entries at the minute, so I'm going to go to Ascot on Saturday. A horse called Before Midnight. Very, very impressive the last day. Went from 136 to 144. They've dropped it down and trip more recently to 2 miles. Likes to be up with the pace. It's a good race now. It's 11-4 joint favourite at the minute with Funham Bull Savola. The horse was second to Shishkin at Aintree.
Tricky to pronounce that one.
Yeah, gets £12 off that. Sky Pirate is top rate at 159. It's 44 grand the winner. 2 miles. So yeah, Before Midnight, 11-4 on Saturday.
Time of the race again?
Don't know.
Okay.
Ascot Saturday.
Sorry about that. Before Midnight, Ascot Saturday, and Fearless, Chepstow Friday. Those are this week's selections for Upping the Stakes. Now, Gavin, the Racing Post Christmas Countdown is offering you the ultimate Cheltenham Festival experience. Gavin, when I say ultimate, I mean ultimate, okay? You and 3 friends can win the most amazing experience at the Cheltenham Festival on Gold Cup Day. What we're going to do is, Gavin, The winner of this prize, is going to go to Gold Cup Day in a helicopter.
Oh, Lord.
So they're going to have all them lovely views that I saw last week around the Cotswolds, They're going to get a fine dining experience in Chez Rouge.
Very good.
How nice is that?
Top class.
And they're going to get to go to the Gold Cup as well. So it's you and 3 of your friends. How do they enter, Gavin?
I'm going to enter myself. You have to put a bet on this Friday in the Racing Post app.
This Friday?
Yes, maybe pick one of our tips.
You could pick one of our tips on Upping The Ante. Yeah. Bet with Bet365 on Friday.
There's lots of weekly prizes to be won as well.
Yeah, loads of weekly prizes to be won. If you want to find out more, just check out www.racingpost.com/Christmas Countdown. So the final part of Upping The Ante is our Ante Post Picks, formerly known as our Ante Post Portfolio, Gavin. Right, Ante Post Picks for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival, the latest instalment, and you're going to go first this week.
Yeah, I am, and we kind of said we'll stick to one tip.
Yeah, we're going to try and stick to one.
We're going to try to, but I have to give 2 this week because I told you last week that I analysed 8 races in the Down Royal meeting a few weeks ago on the Friday and the Saturday, and these 2 are kind of interlinked because they've similar times and stuff. So I don't
let you away with it this week.
Yeah, so I'll try and I won't do that too often.
So I'll have to go for 2 another week to level with you.
Okay? Yeah. So I analysed Hollow Games race, Impervious, Zana here, and the Mediator on the Friday. And then on the Saturday, I analysed Phil Door, Mighty Potter, Esky Lane, and American Mike in the bumper. So the first horse I'm going to go for is Phil Door. 10-1 for the Triumph Hurdle. I think that's value. It had a run last summer in France. I think it was over 1.6 miles. It finished second to a horse of Dan Skelton's that's now second favourite for the Triumph Hurdle. It won at Warwick recently, was quite impressive, but I prefer Phil Door. The 2 of them wore a tongue tie that day, but Phil Door didn't wear one in Down Royal. The ground was soft. I didn't see any problem with it whatsoever. It travelled very kindly, travelled perfect. It wasn't too keen, but still travelled really well. Jumped fantastic.
Brilliantly.
Ended up winning, I think, by 16 lengths from C Sessions, giving it a stone. Davy Russell, after the last, didn't even ask it to extend, or he didn't push it out. The overall time was slow. It was 4:42, but from the third last to the line, it did it in 51 seconds, and that compares favourably with Mighty Potter was 49 seconds, Esky Lane was 50, American Mike was 49. So for a 3-year-old to do that, first time over hurdles, I was only carrying 11 stone, but it's a much younger horse. I thought it was a fantastic performance. I think it's going to go for the graded hurdle the day of the Royal Bond that weekend in Fairyhouse. I can't see it really being beaten that weekend, to be honest. There's been a few other winners recently, but he's been the most impressive. So,
and it's funny, when he did win, it was one of them rare occasions when I thought it would be cut to a much shorter price. I was actually surprised it was still double figures.
Yeah, it was 12-1 last week. It's 10-1 at the minute.
All right. You backed it already, so did you?
I did. I think that 10-1 is fair value. I think that, as I said to you, it should win in a couple of weeks' time, just like Zana here did a year ago, and then that was cut. So I think maybe to back before Fairyhouse.
Okay, so that's your first selection. Yeah. It is Phil Door in the Triumph Hurdle, 10-1 with Bet365.
So while I think the Phil Door is good value at 10-1, the next one I'm picking was one of those horses that day. The price is a bit disappointing, to be honest. So I was debating whether to tip it or not, simply because of the price. There's people backing it on exchanges and stuff. I'd say that's one of the reasons why. It's only 11-2 is American Mike to win the champion bumper. It carried 12 stone 1 that day in Down Royal. I actually even looked at it. It's winning the point-to-point this morning, and it looked very, very good. So the overall lap time was 3:42, 6 seconds quicker than Esky Lane. Now Esky Lane is now rated 144. Esky Lane that day carried 11.6. American Mike carried 12 stone 1, which is £9 more. Its times across the board from even the fourth last 2 seconds quicker, from the third last and the second last, and even in the last furlong was quicker again. I just thought it was an exceptional performance. And I have to get him, like Sergio, as we always said, I have to get him onto the team.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it was going to take. I thought maybe week 3 or 4, but you've gone in week 2.
He's going to run, I think, in the winner's bumper in Navan.
Yeah.
That last year's winner, Sir Gerhard. So Sir Gerhard and Quilixios that went on to win the Triumph from the bumper, they ran in these 2 races. I think American Mike's going to go to Navan for that race. I think it'll win again, and then it'll be shorter again. So I just don't want to miss out on the price. Phil Dora 10s and American Mike.
Are you giving the captain's armband to American Mike already?
For the minute, yeah, but just the time was really, really quick, I think.
Okay, so what price are we talking, American Mike?
11-2.
11-2, American Mike for the Weatherby's champion bumper is Gavin Lynch's now 3rd selection for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. So you've got Gallop in the Champs, you've got American Mike, and you've got Phil Door. They're your 3 selections. Okay, do you want to hear mine now?
Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't actually know your two before you came on because we have a new thing now where we're not telling each other until the actual segment of the show.
Yes.
So mine is actually also a Gordon Elliott trained horse, and it's also owned by Noel and Valerie Moran. And it's something I didn't think I was going to do because I was never a massive fan of the horse, and I know you fancied it for last year's Cheltenham Festival, but I certainly didn't because it was running against my nap, which was Imperial Alcazar at the time. But my next Ante Post pick for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival is the Boss's Oscar in the National Hunt Chase at 16-1 for a couple of different reasons. Gordon Elliott has a terrific record in the race, okay? So I find with Gordon, like he did with Chicago Cray, his first Cheltenham Festival winner, like he did last year with Galvin, he almost picks a horse very, very early in the campaign and earmarks it for that race. He puts a big circle around and he said, that's my National Hunt Chase horse. And I think he's done it this year with the Boss Oscar. He's got him out good and early like he did with Galvin last year. He's got 2 runs under his belt. He was second to Busselton, a really fit Busselton at Listowel. And at the time he went off around even money favoured. He was a little bit disappointing. But Busselton was fit. He followed up next time and won again. And I think it was a fine introduction. It was grand. There was nothing wrong with it. It was fine. Then last time at Galway, I thought it was a good beginner's chase, won by the now ill-fated 6-shooter. He was ahead of Alpha Mix, who was just beaten in a handicap chase off 133 on Sunday in Cheltenham. And to me, he's a stayer. He's rated 150 over hurdles, okay? So he's got that class. He was second in the Pertemps final last year. He ran in the Martin Pipe the year before. He's been to Cheltenham. He's a thorough stayer. He's had a little bit of experience over fences. In Gordon Elliott's brilliant stable tour with Brian Sheeran in the Racing Post, he said the National Hunt Chase is the plan. And for me, 16-1 with Bet365 is just probably 2, 4, 6 points too big. When you know Gordon's record in the race, and you know you've got a horse who's been to Cheltenham, who's rated 150 over hurdles, who has this as his target, I think he ticks a lot of boxes to Boss Oscar. He's the right battle-hardened performer that I want for that race.
I'm a bit annoyed.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was on my shortlist.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, hard luck. He's gone.
He's
He is on my list. It is the Boss's Oscar at 16-1 with Bet365 for the National Hunt Chase. So, folks, that's it for week 2 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365.
By the way, did you see the other day in Punchestown, 2 brothers fought out to finish?
doing the closing outro.
Fully charged in Alpha Mix.
Oh, yeah, there were 2 brothers, yeah.
2 full brothers. And one is a grey and one isn't.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have a chat when they're finished. Probably not. Go on.
Yeah.
Go
We chatting, imagine, they probably go, were you chatting to Mum? No. Chatting to Mum earlier. She's looking for you. Haven't visited her in 3 weeks. You never go home for the dinner. Anyway, that's it for week 2 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. He's been Gavin Lynch. He's been excellent. I've been David Jennings. I've been okay. Join us again next Tuesday for week 3. We're getting through it, Gavin.
Yep.
It's coming thick and fast. Week 3 of Upping The Ante. We'll be back with you next Tuesday. Until then, enjoy your week. Great racing again this weekend. And don't forget, if you're having a bet, don't forget to gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Thanks for watching.